I'm gonna have to move around a little bit because these guys are really smart. Everything he said, I didn't understand any of those syllables. But what I want everybody to understand is, let me ask you this. How many of you guys have grandparents? Know of great-grandparents? Things of that sort? Did you grow up walking down your long estate hallway, being educated on your ancestors in reference to what they contributed to now your wealth empire that you're inheriting? No. Why is that? There was nothing to inherit. Not from a financial standpoint. We inherited a lot of other things as people, but not from a financial standpoint. So as I began to think about where I come from and what's impacted me, I realized I had no real financial education. Now, I'm originally from the inner city of Chicago. Anybody from the inner city? I know this young lady is here.
Hyde Park.
Me too. All right then, 63rd Street, Stony Island. Right? So I'm from the inner city of Chicago. I did really good in school. A's and B's, honor roll. Did some programs, some AP programs at the University of Chicago. Graduated, went to Florida A&M University. I saw somebody talking about HBCU. Angel, she went to Hampton. Right, some other HBCUs, graduated with a master's degree in business and with a concentration in marketing, and my overall goal was to be a chief marketing officer at a Fortune 500 company. I thought that was the good life. Until I had my first internship, then my second internship. My third internship was in New York City at HBO, and I realized I couldn't work for nobody. Anybody else feel like that? Yeah. That was me. I couldn't work for anybody. However, I didn't know what else to do. So I completed my graduate program. I got hired by a company in Atlanta that right after September the 11th took place, this was an energy sector company. That company went through a series of layoffs. And I was laid off January 2002. Now the good news about that was, during the time I was in graduate school, my father would actually take me to these real estate investment conferences. And I would listen to people stand in front of the room and talk about how they had earned $80,000 on one deal or $100,000 on one deal. And I thought that was my whole entire salary for a whole year. And so I got to figure this out. So I started doing real estate on the side while I was in graduate school. So once the layoffs happened, I started my real estate investment company. It was called Home Solutions Group. We specialized in pre-foreclosures. We became very, very good negotiators with loss mitigation departments, and we helped people who were in million-dollar homes. Now, a lot of times people think foreclosure is all about, the person who's like in this lowly house and they just can't pay for their house and they're bad, they don't pay their bills and it's a horrible thing. But we were doing deals with $2 and $3 and $4 million houses because people who had a lot of money that were in business got affected in very numerous different ways.
They didn't save 20%.
They didn't save 20 or any.
Amen.
Or any. So I learned that business. Then the crash happened around 2006, 2007. All of my money was tied up in my real estate deals. So I went into foreclosure.
No liquidity.
No liquidity. I couldn't move. We did everything with credit cards. Foreclosures happened. Properties I had in my name. All the money that I had sunk into properties, I had nothing. So I lost my own house as a foreclosure specialist. Imagine the pain. So I felt burned by real estate at that time. And I moved into the internet space, and I said, well, listen, there's got to be a way that I can take my marketing skills and create a business where I didn't have to worry about a bank, a lender, a title company, a buyer, a seller, a this or a that, or anybody that could make my deal go wrong. Because if anybody made my deal go wrong, I was the only person that didn't get paid. Right? So I got into direct sales, network marketing, and I hated having to go do stuff at people's houses. Anybody been in like direct sales, network marketing before? It's okay, you can say right? You do that? Okay. So I made millions of dollars in network marketing. Right? Millions of dollars, but I hated doing it the way that they taught us to do it. So in 2008, I went to the internet to figure out how I could do it without having to go in someone's house. There's got to be a way I could record this video, record this presentation, and just send it to someone. And then if no one showed up, oh well. If 3 people liked it and they signed up, that was great too. That's when I was introduced to truly what was happening inside of the internet marketing space. So it wasn't even about network marketing for me at that point. It was about internet marketing, being able to create content, publish content, share content, and make money from content that I sold. Imagine that. So I began to become a little bit more of a marketer, but a digital marketer versus the traditional ways of marketing. So from the digital marketing standpoint, I started to make a lot of money on products, programs. I became an educator, essentially. I would teach people how to leverage the internet to market and sell their products and services, whether you created, apps, or whether you created educational programs, or whether you did conferences. I would show people and teach people how to leverage social media, as well as strategic things like Facebook marketing, ads, things of that sort, to actually fill rooms, make money, and make sales. Well, then I was a part of a company that became the first $1 million earner. This was a network marketing company at that time. Became the first $1 million earner in this company as a female, as a black female. And then the company went kaput. So I was making about $100,000 a month, doing a lot of nothing, right? It's a lot of something. But there's something about residual $100,000 a month and after, right? Understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a lifestyle that you build on $100,000 a month, $80,000 a month, $90,000 a month, that's happening every month, whether you tell somebody else about this business or not. And I began leveraging what I was learning until this company went down, and I could no longer sell what they had, but I had something that I gained from them. Now, it was around this time that I decided that I didn't want to work, even though it was still like 1099 income, I didn't want to work for a company in that sense. What I wanted to do is I wanted to learn something that had high value, that didn't change like marketing changed so much. You see, every time I taught somebody how to do a Facebook ad, by the time they figured it out, Facebook changed it. By the time I taught a person who had a product or a service how to leverage a blog to sell and create content on their blog, Google changed it. So it becomes very aggravating trying to keep people ahead of the curve when the curve keeps changing. So I had to figure out how could I find information that didn't really change. And that's how I landed in foreign exchange. Anybody familiar with foreign exchange? All right, so I'm in crypto too, but really my expertise is in foreign exchange. Now, what is the goal? The goal is this. At the beginning, I said, how many of you guys remember being educated on your heritage, on your legacy, walking down your long, empirical state, right? Everybody here pretty much said, nobody remembers doing that. Well, that's because no wealth was created from your ancestors to you. So that means that it's now our time to create the wealth. I have a 5-year-old out there. He's here on purpose because he has to be in environments where people are speaking a language that matters to him. He has to be. So as a result, I started learning how to trade in a foreign exchange market, essentially bringing Wall Street down to Main Street. Now, we all like to spend money, but nobody really taught us how to invest it. I had a multi-million-dollar real estate investment company that I lost everything because no one taught me how to invest for real. I knew how to save a little bit of money. I knew how to put a little bit of money in a Roth IRA. I knew how to flip that and to do some other things and get past some of the initial deposits you could make, but nobody taught me how to compound my money. You guys understand what I'm saying? Compound your money. That means for every dollar I put in, I make 3. Every dollar I put in, I make 3. So we began to figure out, well, wait a minute, what are these banks doing? These banks don't have any money. They have money because we gave them our money. If we stopped giving them our money, what could we do with our money? We don't know what to do with our money, so we keep giving the money to the banks. The banks capitalize on our ignorance about it, and they won't even give you a loan on the money that you have in their bank. That's a problem. So what is that the banks are doing became the quest. Well, wait a minute. What the banks are doing is taking money that they don't have, that they don't own. They're going out to the foreign exchange market. They are benefiting from foreign exchange. In other words, if I go to Mexico, you change your money into the peso. Why? Because you can't use U.S. dollars. You can't use U.S. dollars in Mexico, so you have to convert your money. When you convert your money, that's called an exchange rate. Somebody gets paid on that. So you're on vacation in Cancun and somebody just got paid. Then when you come back from your vacation, somebody else just got paid. And why isn't that you? Then you got to go back to work for your rest of your 50 weeks because you only get 2 weeks vacation. You put a little money in your 401k, and then you realize come retirement age, if it isn't here already, you're not going to have enough. Or you don't have enough. So our seniors, our people in our golden years are working at Walmart, Target, McDonald's, just to make a little extra money. Why? Because they don't know how to be the bank. So what can we do by understanding how to trade forex? A, what we can do is we can take our money out of the banks. B, we can put our money with reputable brokers, as best you can. Look, brokerage is brokerage, so as best you can. Then what you do is you learn how to capitalize from supply and demand. You learn how to understand when something's going on with China, how you can benefit from that. You guys do realize a crash is coming. Anybody understand that? Don't say you didn't know. Crash is coming. Trust and believe. They're going to be, you guys know, so many multimillionaires and billionaires are made during the crash and after. Why? Because they know how to make money on the up and on the down. And so my whole mission, my whole platform is really teaching people forex from scratch. That's what it's called, forex from scratch. I do these trading lounges. I'm from Atlanta. I live in Atlanta now. And so I do these trading lounges called Sips and Pips. My brother here, you were talking earlier about the cannabis with the alcohol. Like, I gotta talk to him. Why? Because PIP is the measurement of how money moves in the foreign exchange market. And I have an event where it's for like the sexy trader. Like I try to make financial stuff fun. So if you're, how many of y'all think y'all sexy? So if you're sexy, right, and you like making money and you want to do it in a fun way, what happens is you come to the trading lounge, Sips and Pips, and you have a little glass of wine, and we show you how to make your money. I would love to have some of that stuff. Now, I don't know if I want people high trying to trade their money. Don't blame me. I'll talk to non-disclosures. But the point that I'm making is that now I have become an educator from the standpoint of financial education, but from a foreign exchange perspective. And so we want to help educate mainly, my target market has been people 35 and up. Why? Because I have a master's degree, and I will be the first. The smarter you are, the harder it is to teach you something. The more degrees you have, the harder it is for you to listen. It's harder for you to make money. The millennials, they get it. You tell them this is what you do, this is how you buy low, this is how you sell high, they do it. We don't do that. We question everything. And so that's been my target market, is helping people in my age group understand how we can shift from the 401k mentality to you having your own. From you paying somebody else to manage your account and only get 5 to 6% a year. So we're really teaching people how to make 10% a day. Like, why are you struggling? You can make 10% of your money every single day through compound interest in a couple hours a day, if you know the game. If you don't know the game, you'll work, you'll struggle, you'll fuss, you'll fight. Sickness, right? All this is related. And so our overall goal is to communicate with as many people as we can in reference to the programmatic thrust of financial education, economic development, understanding how economics does apply to us. It wasn't taught to us from a standpoint where we understood it or why we needed it. All we know was how to buy, but we don't know how to invest. So that's why I'm here. I want to help more people understand that. To our brothers earlier that were talking about some things that were going on, Dr. Muhammad here, all of that, programs, anything where I can come in and my team can come in and help educate youth, college students, grown people, elderly people, how to take their money and invest it on their own through trading in the foreign exchange market. Tell them Tracy Walker sent you.
All right.